In May of 1924, Oregon State University, Acacia, was founded. Now, May of 2024 marks the 100th anniversary of our chapter. Hello everyone, my name is David Mallory, roll number 1221, initiated the winter of 2019, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our history. A lot has happened in the last 100 years, and I've had the privilege of compiling a bunch of unique perspectives across many generations, and I'm happy to be able to share them all with you today.
My name's Nick, I'm roll number 1290, and I initiated fall of 2022.
Brant Jackson, and I'm a pledge.
I was initiated in 1949, and my roll number at Iowa State was 436.
Martin McKnight, 769, and initiated, I believe, January of 1988.
Daniel McVeigh, I am a junior here at OSU. My roll number is 1275.
I'm Nick Milford. My roll number is 1172, and I initiated in 2016.
My name is Zachary Kowash. My roll number is 1272, and I initiated in the fall of 2021.
My name is Matthew Little. I'm roll number 1261, and I was initiated in February of 2021.
Tony Little, number 825, and I was initiated in 1991.
My name is Andrew G., roll number 750. I was initiated in January 1987.
My name is Daryl Larson. I was initiated 2/21/1981, and I'm a Washington State brother.
Yeah, I'm Lee Carney. I'm roll number 263, initiated in 1958.
My name is Marcelo Cardona. I'm 1254, and I was initiated winter 2020.
My name is Eric Nygren, roll number 1100, and I initiated in 2012 in the spring.
All members' name and roll number tell a different story. However, every member also has a story about how they were introduced to the fraternity.
I was introduced to Acacia by a friend I had in class. The young man invited me to come over to the house for dinner. I was this green farm kid from Illinois, and I didn't even know what fraternities were at that time.
I just was invited over Instagram to go to some of our events.
And the summer prior to entering Oregon State, Lee just guided me toward Rush, and I was a resident Rushie in Acacia, and that's how it happened.
He encouraged me to apply for the Acacia Scholarship, which I got, and that got me a tour of the house and a bid if I wanted to sign it.
By my own volition, I guess. My uncle, Benjamin Coleman, had actually been in Acacia in the 90s, but I didn't know that until I got to the house, and our president, Drew Sane, pointed at him on the composite and said, "That guy kind of looks like you," and look at that, it was.
Well, I received an invitation to come down, visit the house for Mary's Peak Marathon Weekend, which I did, had a fantastic time.
I grew up coming to Corvallis basically every weekend during the fall for football games, and we would always tailgate with all these uncles that I had, and they were all just Acacians. And so, you know, I got exposed to Acacia at a very, very young age. Saw the house probably the first time when I was 7 or 8 years old. And then just it kind of, as college, you know, started encroaching, Ted Stevenson reached out to me initially, and he had me over. There's actually, while I was rushing, there was a rush event at my parents' house, which I still lived in. So I kind of had to go to an Acacia event, whether I liked it or not. But I mean, after that first event, it was perfect.
I don't remember a time where I wasn't at least aware of Acacia and that it was affecting my life.
I was introduced to Acacia through an act of God, and that was Mount St. Helens blowing up.
So I just tagged along. I wasn't even invited, and got to meet a great group of fellows and a lot of engineers. Kind of liked what I saw, so I accepted an invite to stay at the house during what then was a pretty formal rush week, and one thing led to another.
I got rushed. I had people, 2 guys come to my house when I was in high school, and they came rushed me, and I came and did a bunch of rush events during that summer, and then ended up just signing on that fall.
Being introduced to the fraternity is always a strong memory. However, it may not be the best one. Everyone, as an active member, has a lot of fun times in the house, and it's good to remember those.
My best memory of Acacia was coming back from running for the Interfraternity Council, and I walked in the room and I was like, guess who's your new IFC Vice President of Scholarship and Leadership? And the room erupted for the next 20 minutes. I couldn't get a word out.
RF Christmas right after I Week. That was a really fun time.
I had the position of being junior dean, and I really enjoyed that because we had parties and spring formal and dinner exchanges and that kind of thing with the sororities and the dorms.
Every moment of that experience was amazing, and if I could go back and do it all again, I would.
It's the brotherhood. It's all the individuals that comprise that brotherhood.
Just so many times, I didn't have any brothers growing up, and family had kind of gotten dispersed. It was a great place to be, and just have so many people that you could hang out and do things with, and so many that you stay in contact with now.
Night on the Nile to initiation to exec board retreats.
The brothers back in the day used to invite the Washington State brothers down for your Night on the Nile party. And there are some epic stories there, but unfortunately I can't put those to tape.
So we were the first ones in a pledge class to live there, and I ended up staying in that house 5 years, and 5 years on that sleeping porch, and lots of things happened in over a 5-year span. Good times.
They're all fun, even the bad times,
On a random Tuesday when somebody would say, hey, let's all go watch a movie down in the KP room, and we go, okay, yeah, and we'll just all go down there. And then pretty soon the entire house is down in the KP room watching this movie, and nobody had any plans to do anything, 10 minutes before that happened. But it's just, hey, there we are all hanging out. That's really what is great about the house and how close we all were.
The chapter house has varied in size a lot, decade to decade, and everyone had a very different experience depending on whether or not you were initiated in the 50s, in the 90s, or now even. But every single member has someone they were the most close to during their time.
Vid Mantis, Ian Hansen, Jack Glover. These are a lot of the guys that I spent a lot of my time with, and Chris Hickey, of course, who's my roommate.
But I probably would have to say Brett Gus. He ended up being the best man at my wedding, and he still active part of my life, 30 plus years later.
I've been best man at 3 different weddings.
Well, I was probably closest to Tad Van der Zanden. He was my best man in my wedding.
One close friend was Dr. Bill Piercy, who also was a faculty here at Oregon State and been here for many years. Of course, he's retired also.
Else, I was probably closest to Matt Lehman, Martin McKnight.
It's a whole group of them. It's my entire pledge class, all 13 of us that initiated in fall 2021. It's hard to go a day without seeing one of them, and that's a curse sometimes. But at the end of the day, having 12 other guys behind you at every step of the way in college is just something that you can't beat.
Oh, I'm still in touch with Wayne Roberts and his brother Stan. And
it's fun to look back at the people that you saw as children, basically, and coming back and they were like responsible adults.
No one ever thought we would be responsible for anything at that given time. And amazingly enough, we contribute to society.
Meeting Acacians from other chapters is something that all Acacians should experience. It really broadens the perspective and can be very fun.
I've actually had many opportunities to meet Acacians from other chapters. We've had our brothers down at Cal Berkeley come up and visit us. We've gone down to visit them. And I actually attended a conference, AFLV West, where we had fraternities from all around the nation, interfraternity councils from all around the nation meet up. And I actually met a couple other Acacians from Nebraska and Berkeley again. So I've had a great opportunity to meet so many Acacians across the country.
When I was visiting other chapters, I went down to Cal Berkeley. I met a whole bunch of their guys, and they just got rechartered, I believe. I don't know if they were chartered before, just a new charter.
Well, not too many, really, except here at Oregon State. I guess it's sort of my adopted fraternity here.
What I love about meeting Acacians from other chapters is we all have our own kind of different culture, but a lot of us are the same, and we're all Acacians, and we can come together under that umbrella and have a good time.
I was fortunate enough, I guess, to be a national consultant for Acacia, and so I went all around the country and met so many brothers.
Most, if not all, members, right before they signed their bid, didn't know exactly what they were getting themselves into. Which begs the question, if you could say anything to yourself right after you signed your bid, what would it be?
Now I would say probably buckle up. It's going to be an awesome 4 years.
Enjoy it. I think I did that pretty well, but take full advantage while in undergrad.
This is going to be the best 4 years of your life. I'm so glad I did this my freshman year and in the fall term.
It would probably be congratulations, because it turned out to be one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life.
Acacia is exactly what you put in. That's what you get out. And I've put in a lot at this point, but I wish I put in more at the beginning.
I definitely have no regrets and wouldn't have wanted to have done it any other way or joined another house. So.
Cherish it, because it's going to go by a lot faster than you want it to.
Cherish the time, cherish the people that you get to meet and know. Some of these people are going to carry you out in a box, and some of them are going to be the best man at your wedding. Some of them are going to be godfathers to your kids. So cherish all that time with your brothers.
Frank, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
Go to class. Go to class. You don't have to do everything all the time, but make sure that you go to class, take care of your stuff, and then enjoy college.
I think I did the right thing. I believe that's what I would say.
It's fair to say certain individuals have contributed far more than others when it comes to the duties of Acacia, whether that's through the executive board, the alumni board, the national fraternity. Those individuals have made a difference in many of our lives.
Coming out of COVID, we were really starting to realize we were getting back to normal. And so everything I've been doing over the past 9 months has been to try to get us back to our glory, without any real COVID issues. And what's been difficult about that is really just been the pressure. The job is not hard, and I'm doing this because I love it, because I love Acacia. I love my brothers, whether they're active or graduated. They're my guys, and I want to be successful for them and provide them the best 4 years that they can and the best for life opportunity that I can give them. And so what's really difficult is just like the pressure on my shoulders that's really self-created a lot, because I love this place so much, and I want to come back in 30 years, and I want to come back in 40 years with my son and be able to relive like these days. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me going.
But it really is a good experience, and I'd say one that's well worth trying out if you have the time to be able to volunteer it. It's just really awesome to be able to see all these guys grow through the house. You go down and you visit, and then you come back in 6 months to a year, and everything's completely different.
Some ups and downs and a lot of work to do kind of behind the scenes as a president, but I was glad to have served, and I hope that I helped keep things in working order before I dumped my responsibilities on Eric Nygren.
I've always appreciated the Oregon State chapter, and in recent years, many of the young men have become good friends and also have been helpers to us, doing yard work and transporting and that kind of thing, which we really have appreciated.
We had a pretty bad GPA under a 3.0 as an interfraternity community, and by the time I will be done with my position, it will have gone above a 3 and be on par with the all men's average.
Well, I can tell you that leading the fundraising project for our, 2007 renovation of the house was a chore. And I think we spent at least 5 or 6 years really actively contacting everyone and trying to raise the money necessary to do that project. It sure made it a lot easier a few years later when Stan Roberts came through and did 98% of it himself. But we've had 2 major renovations on that chapter house. I think it's a fine facility, and I hope the current members agree.
I've enjoyed the last 9 to 10 years working for the Acacia Fraternity Foundation. And with the foundation, we have about 3 or 4 main emphases: bricks and mortar for chapter houses, programming at the national level, scholarships, of course, and endowment building. And the Oregon State chapter in particular, we've had many generous donors who have really paid it forward to kind of bring your chapter house back to prominence. It's always a sexy conversation to have, bricks and mortar conversation. They seem to kind of roll and make a lot of sense.
The needs of the active chapter have stayed relatively consistent over the last 100 years. However, all of the active members I interviewed, I asked the question, what is the best thing an alumni can do?
I think one of the best things alumni can do is help students find good internships and jobs during the summer.
Is just when they come around, just talk about the good times from their days, just so the new people have a perspective of how it was back then, how it's changed, just so they have an understanding. And that, you know, as a grown-up, mature adult can realize that they were once the same age, having fun, making mistakes, and so they learn a lot too.
It sucks to say it, but it's give us money. That's about it. Our house, it's a beautiful house, but upkeeping it does take a lot of money, and that's about the only thing I can say. Other than that, being present. A lot of our younger guys get a lot out of seeing alumni come back 5, 10, 15 years later, because they can see what an impact the place had on them.
Be present and contribute. I know it can be difficult sometimes to get your foot in the door, especially with the active guys, but honestly, anytime I see an alumni just walk up to the front door and knock, I will always open the door. I will always give them a house tour. Like, I cherish those moments, seeing guys coming back and thinking, you see the gears grinding, they're reliving the good times.
I definitely think it goes a super long way to be able to have some financial support from the alumni, especially me seeing how things function here every single day. It is something that often is needed, and we may not always have it, but when it's there, it is beyond helpful.
The stories from our active years that stick out are often not appropriate.
Just shaking my head like this as he walked by, and we got it good.
Saints and Sinners. I was in the limousine.
B&B. The first round, there's a group of 5 of us in the front, and normally there's a Save the President line. And but we were at the start of it, and we downed half the bottle.
Trying to take off Reese's shirt and try to put on a new one.
Every year it comes around, it's Halloween weekend. There's always a group of 20 or 30 of us walking around the streets of Corvallis, going to as many parties as we can.
After jump, we ended up stripping him of all of his clothing. And he ran around Corvallis naked until I found a paper plate.
No answer.
We are not allowed to talk about it.
So he didn't really need that big of a plate.
Oh, good. But he threw one from pretty close, and I didn't really expect it coming, and it caught me on the chin, and I still have the scar here to this day from a can of Busch Light, which is just absurd.
And I was not of the most stable conscious.
Flaming couches, broken toilets, into the pit.
Broke a pitcher of water and a candle, and my hair caught on fire. And everyone just started singing even louder because.
And we called it the Great Date Swap because literally every couple that went swapped partners with someone else by the time the night ended. And it was fun. It was a good time.
And Chris and I both smashed the bottles. And then we saw police lights turn on, and these guys started booking it.
Let's see, we had a competition when we were here during Night of the Nile of eating goldfish, and I ate 103 goldfish. So.
I want to thank the active chapter and the alumni board for helping me put this video together. It meant a lot to me as I have a unique perspective as a legacy where I'm connected to an older generation of Acacians, as well as being the Venerable Dean in 2020, have a lot of connections to the younger Acacians. So me also knowing how to edit videos was put in a unique perspective where I could be of great benefit to the chapter by creating this video. I had a wonderful time doing it, and I thank you all.